happy 10-year anniversary to Neighborhood Initiative and Lynn Corey. Wow, 10 years of helping people understand, grasp, and then inspiring them to love their neighbors and ultimately keep Jesus' greatest commandments. My name is Bahram Khayatpour, and I came across Neighborhood Initiative years ago. They were doing one of their seminars, and I was invited, and I went. And as I heard everyone talk about loving our neighbors and taking the light of Jesus into our neighborhoods, something inside of me at that point just jumped up. And I knew that this is something that connected with my heart and what God had put on my heart. However, at that time, I worked at a church that wasn't in their DNA. They had their own thing going, and so that whole thing kind of got shelved. Fast forward about 5, 6, 7 years later, until about a year ago, where me and a small community of people felt like we were called to plant a church. And so we did that about a year ago. And I remember in those first couple of weeks, I was really preaching some sermons on foundational, who we were going to be as our DNA, and some things God had put on my heart. And so one Thursday, I got invited to a prayer meeting where pastors get together and pray for the San Fernando Valley and the city of LA. And so I knew that was close to my heart, so I went to this meeting. And I remember one of the first ones, a gentleman named Lynn came up to me and introduced himself. And he told me the Lord put it on my heart to bring one of my books into this meeting. And I feel like he wants to give it to you. And so I said thank you, and I took the book and said The Incarnational Church, and I liked the title. And so I did what I do with all books that's given to me. I turned it around and read the synopsis in the back. And I'll never forget that moment. It was as if someone had just taken the sermons that I'd been preaching and the things that God had put on my heart, and they put it into words. And then I read the book, and I read Lynn's other book, and same thing. Everything that I had felt for so long, and everything that I was excited to do, and what I felt like God was moving our church, was written down in words and in better ways than I could ever do it. And so I knew that this was a God thing. And I believe in Neighborhood Initiative and loving our neighbors and being the incarnational church, not because it sounds like the right thing to do, not because it's another great program that's coming along. I believe in it because I believe it's the essence of the gospel. It's the essence of the Jesus life, that we experience God's love and then we show God's love. And that's what I want our church to be. We want to be the incarnational church. And I've told them over and over again, this church is not about bringing people to the church. It's about the church becoming like Jesus, transforming into the image of Jesus, Christ-likeness, and then taking that into their neighborhoods, into their workplaces, with their families. And so the Neighborhood Initiative is near and dear to my heart and to our church. And so, Lynn, thank you so much for what you do. You will never know how much you've impacted my life, how much you've impacted our church, and how much you've impacted the church in LA, in California, in the US, and I believe throughout the world. So keep up what you're doing. Congratulations on 10 years, and I look forward to many, many more as God continues to lead you, to lead His church, and to lead all His believers into loving Him and loving our neighbors.